Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Government Business Today. I am your host, Irv Hughes, and I am on here with the Wall Street Hall of Famer himself, Robert Lindrum. Today, we're
Hey,
really excited to have a guest on there. For those of you who are watching us live, or if you're tuning in to us from our podcast site, or YouTube, or Twitter, or any of the social media platforms that we are simulcast on, you will notice the lovely and talented Miss Tony Johnson. So we're going to have her on today, and I'm not going to steal any of her thunder because I want her to be able to introduce herself to you. But guys, today's topic is going to be on access to capital because so many of you guys need to be able to access loans. And guess what? We got the absolute perfect person to actually talk to you about that. And we're going to take a deep dive. I'm going to be firing some questions at her. And so make sure you grab a pen or a piece of paper and jot down some of her answers so you can hold her to it. All right. In the meantime, so I want to just say, in the way of a start, hello, Robert. It is
hey,
good
Irv.
to be back. And by the way,
Yeah,
guys,
it's
thank you so much for all the kind words while I was out battling COVID here in the last week or so. So thanks so much, guys.
yeah, Irv. I'm glad that you're back in the saddle. When you and I spoke earlier this week, and even last week, you were down for a bit. So I'm
Man,
glad
I
that.
was having it, man.
Oh yeah, it's no good. It's a real thing. I mean, when I had it last earlier this year, it's a real thing. So I'm just really glad and thankful that you're up and at 'em. And I'm happy to report that. I was in New York City last Thursday, and it's slowly coming back. I'd say it's about 60% of where it was at its peak. It's the first time I've been back in since pre-COVID, so nice to be back in the city there for the day as well. So what's
Well,
up?
hey, listen, I'm really happy that you had the opportunity to go back to your stomping ground there. It would have been cool for me to be able to see you in your natural habitat, Robert.
natural, my natural habitat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I was bouncing around Midtown, sweating like everybody else. So that's if that's what natural habitat is, walking in the big city, then that's what that is.
Hey, listen, I totally get it, man. It's one of those things, man, where after you've gone through some of these ailments and things, you get a chance to actually think about how cool it is that we literally get to do what we do to help advance
Yeah.
small businesses all across the country.
Oh,
And so,
one. Yeah. And the other thing I think is so important is that there's so many different ways to go about doing this.
yeah,
I mean, from factoring to PO finance to startup capital to, I mean, part of what I was doing in the city was, I work with the trade finance group out in California doing equipment leasing. And there's just so many different ways that people want to try to put money and, growth type capital that may not be equity, but debt, into the hands of the borrowers.
yeah.
And so when I think about Tony being on today, it's just yet another perfect example of another arrow in the quiver, that's available to borrowers today.
Yeah, and I just want to say that too, as we segue to Tony, is that
Yeah,
guys, you want to make sure that you understand your business model in such a way that you know what should be in your capital stack. And so a capital stack may be a range of different things, like Robert was talking about. It could be equipment finance, it could be PO finance, it could be loans, it could be lines of credit. It could be a series of different kinds of tools, financial tools that you use to lay the groundwork to make sure that you maintain liquidity while you're growing. If you're a brand new startup or you're trying to even get set up, yes, Tony, I'm going to pin you about that very thing. And it's going to be really some great information that we're going to share with you today. Having said that, guys, we have Miss Tony Johnson. Welcome to Government
woohoo,
Business.
woohoo.
Yay, awesome. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Irv. I appreciate just being on with you fellas today. I'm really excited about what we're going to speak about. And again, that's access to capital. It's very important for our entrepreneurs and our small business owners to know that there is funding available. And I'm happy to go ahead and dive in again, just giving you a little bit of background in regards to who I am. Tony Johnson. I am the lending team manager here with our organization, Dream Spring, as you see that I wear it so proudly on my chest because our organization has been around for almost 30 years in this industry. And we're formerly known as Axion. But in 2019, we transitioned for a name change that has allowed us to go from 5 legacy states. We're now currently into 24. And we have a strategic goal tenfold to provide access to capital to as many businesses as we could possibly manage to do so. And so, again, I'm very happy about being here. And Irv, let me know where you want me to begin. I could speak about who we are in regards to the differences. We're not a bank. We get that a lot. We're not a bank. We're classified as a CDFI, right? And what that stands for is a Community Development Financial Institute.
Yeah.
We do not compete with banks. Rather, we partner with them in organizations such as yours to help get the funding over to the small business owners. And so we're a nonprofit organization. We specialize in businesses of color, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, and really just going deep within those communities to help out these business owners.
Well, Tony, first of all, thank you so much for that because you were spot on with where I was going next. And that is, a lot of people, to me, it seems like a CDFI is like one of the best kept secrets in America, as far as a source of capital. And one of the reasons why I've been so excited about having you on the show is because so many people, if they're in maybe an underserved community, or something like that, they'll typically want to start a business, have an idea, and they'll typically go stampeding into their local bank, right? And frankly, the way the banking system is, and I'm not against banks. Let me be clear about that. But what I'm saying is the way the banking system is, they don't have a lot of latitude to be able to provide financing for some of these what I call micro enterprises. And I think that CDFIs around the country, a lot of people don't even know that these things exist. And that's why I was really happy to have you on the show so we can actually talk about and expose perhaps even some of the lending products that, say, DreamSpring offers.
Yeah. Hey, Tony. So sorry. So it's kind of like CDFI. This was all brought about like the Great Recession in 08, 09, correct? And it's just built out from there. Is it kind of like almost taking the place of the community banks that are disappearing like across the United States, or is it just
Well,
trying to fill a specific need?
right. Well, I wouldn't say that we're necessarily filling in the gap of those community banks that are disappearing. However, it could definitely be a contributing factor. What I will say is that we are, and we have noticed that there is a need, and we are there standing in the gap to kind of help facilitate not only providing businesses with the access to capital, but additionally providing resources and education, technical assistance. Because as you mentioned, a lot of folks, when they're starting out, they go right over to a bank, which is absolutely fine, but they lack the education, right? And the banks do sometimes have more stringent requirements and don't offer the flexibility that a CDFI such as ourselves could offer to our clients with helping them to get there. And then essentially the relationship is reciprocal. And as banks refer their clients over to us, we help them to get loan ready and we send them back
Hmm.
ready to be funded by the banks.
So
Okay,
let me
got it.
make sure I'm following you here. So a CDFI is not a bank, but you partner with banks. So you, as a CDFI, you do lend, to businesses. And so, what allows a CDFI to be, say, more flexible than a bank as far as, perhaps somebody qualifying for funding?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So, with our organization, we're all in house. Our underwriting department is in house. And so that allows us more flexibility to kind of meet our clients where they are. And if there is a deal that's workable, but we need to be a little more flexible when it comes to the collateral or the credit score or some of those requirements, we do and can move towards that. Absolutely.
So
Okay.
what's the typical size? I mean, like I've heard you suggest micro loans. I mean, are these like 5,000, 100,000 across? What's the typical size, Tony?
Another great question, Robert. Our typical average loan size is about $8,000 to $10,000. Now we can go down with credit builder or credit starter loans, $200, $500, right? That's to get someone just initiated in the process to begin building credit. But we could go upwards of $2 million. We do carry several products, and Irv and Robert, if you'd like me to, I could get a little more background in regards to some of those products that we have to offer.
Yeah,
Yeah, why don't you
100%.
why don't you go ahead and let's jump on there and kind of list through some of the different products.
Absolutely. So, leading with our first product, I want to speak about it because it's something that we recently implemented late last year. It's called our Power Line of Credit. So, essentially, it's a line of credit. 1,000 up to $50,000. It's a revolving term of 24 months. The interest rate is anywhere from 13.5 to 24%. Again, that's dependent on your FICO. Our minimum FICO score is a 600. However, we do work with folks with less than stellar credit to kind of help you get on track. There is a community benefit fees. We AKA that as a closing fee, anywhere from 2 to 10% of that amount. But yeah, we do have a line of credit up to $50,000. Now, something that I'm smiling about as I get ready to speak about it, we have a partnership with Wells Fargo, and we call this product our True Grit Loan. And
True grit.
True
True
Grit?
Grit,
The Jeff Bridges True Grit or the John Wayne True Grit?
however you want to apply it.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
All right.
That right there, Tony, is one of the reasons why I love doing government business today.
Yeah.
We're going to help a lot of people right there because guess what, folks? Here's a loan for those of you who have true grit,
True
True
Grit.
not
Grit.
fake grit, but real grit.
Oh
Right,
man.
absolutely. And just a little context in regards to that title. We noticed an area where businesses were having the hardest time maintaining and staying afloat within the pandemic epidemic that we still are kind of in, right? And so
Sure.
what we did is help to develop this particular product that will assist businesses that are recovering from the COVID-19 crisis. And so it's not a huge amount of money, it's up to $10,000. But what this will do is help to facilitate closing in those gaps for businesses that just need to make payroll or inventory. Or anything of that nature. And so this is a 24-month term up to $10,000. The interest rate, are you ready? Anywhere from 2.5 to 3%.
Wow.
Get out of town.
2.5 to 3%. Isn't that phenomenal?
Wait a
Um,
minute, Tony. Is this for you? You're talking about for a business, right?
I am absolutely. All of our loans are for business loans. All of our products are geared towards business. And so, again, 600 is the minimum of the credit score for this particular product, and there is no closing fee. So essentially, it's $10,000, 24-month term, 2.5 to 3% interest,
Wow.
That's remarkable.
isn't it?
Is
We
there
absolutely
collateral? Do you have collateral under that, or
no collateral required for this particular product.
Wow.
Not at all. Not at all. And so that's why we call it our True Grit. These are for business owners who have weathered the storm. They've incorporated that pivot to kind of stay afloat and keep them moving in whatever capacity that they need to stay in business,
how
right?
long is the underwriting for on something like that, Tony?
So once we submit to underwriting, our typical turnaround time is usually 48 hours or so.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Um,
So 2 days to notifying them what giving the applicant an answer.
That is correct.
Wow,
That
that
is correct.
that's great. So having said that, Tony, can you talk about? I'm really excited about this, man.
Mhm.
So Tony, can you talk about what kinds of, you touched on the credit score. What kind of revenue or cash flow does the company have to have? And I know that'll vary, by industry and so on. But
Right.
what's a good benchmark for somebody who might be listening to this and want to apply? How much cash flow or sales or what? How do you guys measure that?
Well, what I will say to that question, because it is a frequently asked question, it is dependent on the business and the industry, primarily because all of our products require a personal guarantee. Um, we have two primary factors in regards to determining eligibility. And of course, the FICO score, we utilize TransUnion to obtain that FICO score. And then also the cash flow, where we're the DTI, that's the debt to income ratio. We would just love to see it under 50%.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's very generous.
Isn't it right?
Yeah.
And because it's all about making sure we meet our folks where they are. And
Yeah.
if they're not loan ready or if they're teetering on the cusp, we want to do whatever we can that makes sense to help facilitate providing this loan or this product to them
Hmm.
so that they can move forward.
Well, I got to tell you, Tony, one of the things that has me really, really excited, I didn't know you were going to hit on that, but I got to tell you, one of the things that I'm really excited about is you guys being able to partner with us here at ACA, because part of what we were looking to do, Robert and I were talking earlier today about we need to have a lending partner that can literally do what you're talking about, because some of the folks that we have that approach us or who are clients of ACA are actually in that early
Hmm.
startup phase, so to speak. And so I wanted to see if you would speak to how you guys go about handling startup. And I'm talking about, I'll paint the picture, a person who's, they're probably working full time now, right? And just for the benefit of, I'm going to take some risk right here and just say they might be looking for a side hustle, right? Uh, it's it's where they're trying to, perhaps augment their income. And so they may be flying a little bit too tight to put necessarily their own money into a startup just to take it out of their budget, especially with things, going up like they are right now. So, how do you guys handle somebody that's like that? They've got an idea, they've got an opportunity, and maybe they need $10,000 or $15,000 to get started.
Mhm.
How do you guys handle that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I chuckle at that because I think, for the most part, that's the way that most folks initiate this journey, right?
Hmm.
Knowing that they want to incorporate and have multiple streams of income, and they have that entrepreneurial spirit and they just don't know how to get started. A lot of them have careers and full-time jobs, and but they want to transition to something else, something that may be a little bit more passionate, and we are absolutely okay with that. We understand that dynamic. We work with startup companies, and so fill out an application. That is the way to get the ball rolling. Essentially, as long as the cash flow works out to under that 50% DTI. As long as we could verify that you have a business, meaning that either you're sole proprietor, because we see those a lot, folks that are in real estate, they're realtors or um, contractors, 1099. You could go in and get a simple DBA just to kind of show that business registration, and we're able to move
Hmm.
forward with you. Or if you are educated enough in regards to the business realm and registering your business to really fortify it legally, of course, single member LLC. So it doesn't matter if you got it yesterday,
Hmm.
as long as we are able to prove that you are a legitimate business you're able to produce something to reflect that bank statement, business bank statements, or things of that nature, we could definitely move forward with processing an application.
Well, you
Hey,
brought up
Tone.
a really good point. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, no, or sorry to interrupt, Irv. That actually a question that I had for you on the power line of credit and True Grit. Is there a minimum time in business for either or both of those?
Excellent question. For the power line of credit, there is no minimum in terms of how long they've been in business. However, for the True Grit, we would love to see that their business was operational or have started February of 2020.
Oh, since February.
Since February of 2020 for the True Grit loan product.
Gotcha.
Business had to have started after Feb 2020.
Got
it.
Before, I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Before February of 2020.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
But for the power line of credit, they can be new.
They can absolutely be new.
Okay.
Yes. And so those are two of our products. I'll let you know about a product that we have. It's Texas-based and New Mexico-based, but I want to mention it. It's called our Fast Forward Project Loan. And so essentially, it's for project-based contractors that have a contract, but they just don't have the funding to secure the materials or the inventory or whatever the situation may be. What we'll do is provide a 1 to 2 month term. And again, we're very flexible with that. The loan range is $2,500 up to $10,000, and the interest rate is 0%. 0%, right? The credit score, we would love to see you. The minimum is at 650. And the closing fee, or what we deem as a closing fee, we call it our community benefit fee, 2.5 to 3.5% that's due at origination. But up to $10,000, 1 to 2 month term, 0% interest. Again, we just really want to meet our folks where they are. You need the funding to kind of front the cost. We can handle that for you. Just show us your contract and we can rock and roll.
Wow. So Tony, companies now Tony, you got to know I'm in this space right now, right? So I know why you did that. I'll talk to you about that off the air. But so companies can use this fast forward really if they're in construction of some type. They can use that as mobilization funding, can't they?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
I love it. I love the way that, because, when we're thinking about these products, we have to make sure that we're crossing multiple genre industries, being creative with the type of products that we're able to come up with to meet the needs of our clients. And so the True Grit, the Fast Forward Loan, the line of credit, those are awesome, fantastic products. Again, we also carry the SBA communities, SBA's Community Advantage Loan, excuse me. Mm-hmm. It's a mouthful. Yeah. In our 5 legacy states. And those 5 legacy states, again, it's Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, and of course, Texas. Recently, the SBA did provide an update where we're able to lend up to $350,000. Oh, wow. And that is a viable option for many businesses that are looking for a structured interest rate spread over a great deal of time, anywhere from 5 to 10 years.
Now, let me ask you, because this is really good. If you guys are doing Community Advantage, I came from the SBA world, right? Yeah. And so I was way back there when Community Advantage was Community Express, right?
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, so I'm dating myself. Yes, I know.
I'm not going to worry about it.
But let me ask you. So on Community Advantage, so what kind of collateral stack do you guys use, or how do you form up the collateral needed for a loan that size, say up to $350,000?
Right. So, of course, we would love to see 100% match on that. But again, with our relationship with the SBA, we know that, we can accept either real estate, vehicles, um, equipment, inventory, very flexible in that regards with collateral. I'll tell you something funny. We've collected collateral everywhere, every department or category. We've even had a wedding dress
Oh
and
my!
and a one-eyed python as collateral.
Wait, a what? A
A
one-eyed?
one-eyed python. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Very interesting. And I think
Yeah.
that really just attests, it speaks to us, again, and I know I sound like a broken record, but we absolutely want to meet you where you are. And if this is what is near and dear to you, and of course there's value to you, and then that we're able to inspect. But yeah, so I say that to say that we're very flexible. But what I could do, Irv, Robert, is also just follow up and send you over just some additional information in regards to some of our collateral requirements.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. I
awesome.
appreciate that. And Tony, look, our the thing is that every week Robin and I have this show, and it's only 30 minutes, and I always wind up having to invite people back, and
Yeah.
so you are absolutely going to have to come back for sure. And one of the things I want to put out there is I want to make sure that people are clear
Mhm.
that DreamSpring and ACA are working together to make sure that you guys can get access to these funds. And so I want to make sure that, Tony, is it okay for us to say that people can reach out and contact us so we can facilitate the connection to you guys, or how would you? Are you comfortable doing that?
Absolutely. Irv, we go back, and you're doing wonderful things. And they could definitely reach out to you. You could send them over to me. We have that specialized link that you and I have spoken about, just to ensure that we know what's what. But send them right over to me. I don't mind a conversation. You have my direct line. I'm not one of those ones that'll send you over. I'll speak with you. We'll sit down. We'll talk about your funding goals and your needs.
Hmm.
We'll help you to build out a business plan. All of that technical assistance and resources, that is something that we can definitely provide.
That's
Well, that's
terrific.
great. And I want to ask you this too, with regard to technical assistance. That's something I didn't want us to leave without touching on technical assistance.
Right.
And that is, what kinds of technical assistance can, say, an applicant get through DreamSpring?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one-on-one consultations and conferences in regards to the process, initiating the process, during the process, and thereafter. We build a rapport with our clients. And so, even after you're funded, we still keep open communication. If there are certain events or resources that we feel that may be beneficial to you, we're going to extend that to you as well.
Hmm.
We could sit down and, again, like I said, help you to build out a business plan. If you don't understand financial documents, we could definitely sit down and talk about a profit and loss and a balance sheet and how to obtain that, how to incorporate automation into your processes. There are tons and tons of topics that we can assist with. And so we're open, we're ready to help in any way that we can.
Love it.
Well, all right. Well, you heard it here first, guys. So make sure you reach out to us here at ACA. I'm going to do, Robert, something I had not done on our podcast before. But, guys, if you are needing access to some capital, we can absolutely help you get where you need to go with regard to your capital stack. I'm going to ask you guys to certainly reach out to American Credit Assurance. You can reach out to us online at www.aca.credit, not .com, but
Mhm.
aca.credit. Or you can give us a call on our toll-free number. If you happen to be somewhere nationwide in this great country of ours, you can give us a call at 800-656-6498. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me at option 2. So I just want to make sure that we put out there, guys, you can reach out to us. And by the way, as always, each week, guys, if this information has been meaningful and relevant to you, hey, use your social media, pass it along. That's why we simulcast this on all our favorite social media platforms. So pass it along and help some other people get access to the capital and credit they need to start up and grow. Tony, thank you so much for joining us
Tony,
here
this has been great. Thank you.
on Government Business Today.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. I
Lot of
look
fun.
forward to the next time.
All right. We'll certainly have you back. That's for sure. Until next time, guys, be safe out there.
See you guys.